My dear brothers and sisters, as we have heard from our readings, the first reading from the book of Genesis, which we started reading from last week, we saw how God created man and the fall of man. In the beginning of this week, we saw how one of the human beings turned against the other by killing him. Today we see God now making a covenant with Noah. It is the covenant is renewing with humanity, because already humanity has gone far away. We saw God was regretting why he had created it. We have our particular vows which we vowed to the Lord as religious. During marriage, we had our agreements with our partners, and during baptism, we usually make our covenant with the Lord. It is I and you to try and look back in our lives. Have I kept my baptismal covenant with the Lord? Or it was just for the sake of it? I have run away. I do not keep it anymore. I also try to ask myself, if I am married, if I am in marriage, am I keeping my promises? Or the promises were just for the sake of it in front of the altar of the Lord? I try and look at my life. I try and see it, I'm walking with Christ like the disciples. And Christ is asking me, am I truly a follower of Christ? Or I have turned to be Peter, calling him aside. I'm not calling now Christ aside. I'm running. I'm trying to do hidden things by myself. I look at that. What is that which is making Christ to say, go behind me, Satan? What is that which is making me not to follow my baptismal covenant of refusing Satan and all his things? This is what now is becoming problematic to us. We can see in today's world, especially in our country, people being waved away from their religion, being cheated. Come, stay praying for the whole day, you will get money. That will never happen, my dear brothers and sisters. Let us not be cheated. Let us try not to tempt God. Let us be true followers of Christ. Being a Christian doesn't follow that your life will be always very cool and calm. No. Immediately you become a God follower. Also, Satan begins also his work. He has to try to tempt you. He has to also make you his disciples. And this we can see it. People being encouraged to be lazy. We are encouraging these mushroom pastors to be lazy for sure. They are doing nothing, just cheating us. I saw one, for example, he was trying to tell people to be generous in contributing to buy the car of the church. Immediately they bought it. He called them to start thanking them. And by thanking them, some even came without shoes. And he's telling them, let us pray to the Lord that he might also grant you a car. Why did he himself not come and kneel and pray for the car to come down as manna? My dear friends, the people whom he's cheating to pray for them to get the car, they have even nothing to wear on their foot. How do you expect them? They will fuel the car if they don't have the shoe. My dear friends, let us use our reason. Let us reason before we just follow things blindly. Let us see, the devil is still at work. That's why Peter is very genuine in answering the question Christ is asking. Who do people say I am? Might be he's not sure of what he's saying. That's why immediately he turns to tell Christ not to go to Jerusalem. What hinders you from going to Jerusalem? That is what makes you not to forgive other peoples. That is an hindrance to Jerusalem. You are angry because somebody wronged you. You don't want to see him or her anymore. That is hindering you from going to Jerusalem. That is holding you back. You are trying to be that Satan which Christ is trying to tell him to go behind him. Let us not always stay near this Satan. Let us see what can make us end up in Jerusalem. Our children, we are responsible in our marriage. They are happy. That is great. My spouse is happy. That is great. I'm following my vows. That is good. I'm following my baptism covenant. That is great. Now, what makes the world now go astray is because we want not to go to Jerusalem. We want to hold on the world. And it is really holding on us. The world is full of many things which are holding us back. Let us see what we can detach from and go to Jerusalem. Everyone knows he himself and herself from the inner being what is holding him or her not to go forward. Those secret sins which we want people never to see, they are holding us not to go ahead. We want to paint a picture of very good Christians, even saints who are living in this world. But behind the scene is something which is holding me from going to Jerusalem. Let us see what is that which is holding me. Tell it, go behind me, Satan, and release it and move forward. Holding on these worldly things, they will never bring us to the covenant God has made unto us. God is calling Noah to go and fill the world with his sons and daughters. They will get married. They are not getting married to another man or another lady. No. Today, we see we are advocating for silly things. God had wanted man to stay with man. I think when man slept, he could have created another man, not a woman. And the covenant today with Noah could not have been there because there wouldn't be no procreation. We want to close our eyes and justify what is evil. My dear friends, let us face the reality as Christians. Our life is not easy now. We have to stand by the truth. We have to challenge the world. We have to challenge Satan. If not so, also we ourselves, we will be ending up in the same pool and swimming in the same waves. So let us pray to the Lord that we might abide to our different promises, covenant, and vows in his church and be truthful in following him.